Onryo, Yurei of Vengeance. Yurei are disturbed spirits who cannot enter the next phase of the afterlife. Onryo are yurei who are mistreated, driven into despair, or murdered. This trauma manifests as a ghost focused on vengeance and suffering. Origins and significance. Onryo can be male or female, though in most art and modern depictions they are female. A famous male Onryo was the scholar Sugawara no Michizane, who lived from 845 to 903, who was banished due to political reasons and manifested as an Onryo after his death. The female Onryo has been portrayed in plays, operas, ukiyo-e art, film, books, and even American cinema such as The Ring and Ju-on, The Grudge. Characteristics and traits. Yurei could appear several ways. In a lot of cases, they appeared and acted as if still alive. By contrast, Onryo had very striking visual clues that made them stand out from other ghosts. She wore white burial robes with the funeral kimono wrapped right over left. Often she looked dead, either pale skin or corpse-like. Her hair was long and black and often flowed and floated like smoke. The first artist to portray what became the typical Onryo was Maruyama Okyo, who painted the Ghost of Oyuki in 1750. Ways to appease an Onryo consisted of redoing funerary rites, having the corpse reburied and blessed, or finding justice for the victim. In more modern times, this appeasement is non-existent, perhaps for the sake of entertainment. The most famous of ghost stories began as a kabuki play by Tsuruya Namboku in 1825. The story revolves around Oiwa, the wife of a ronin, who is tricked into disfiguring herself so her husband can marry a different woman. Oiwa's wrath leads to destruction, death, and justice against those who wronged her. It has become a tradition for the cast and crew of a production of Yotsue Kaidan to make a journey to Oiwa's grave and ask for her blessing. Modern Onryo. Today's Onryo are slightly different than the older stories. Today they are unstoppable and inevitable, and appeasement doesn't work. The Onryo does not discriminate on who she targets. Even if the perpetrator is dead, she will simply move on to the next target. Often evolves into a curse passed from person to person. Metaphorically portrayed as someone with an all-consuming grudge. The Onryo is a grudge-based ghost in a subcategory of yurei that are mostly women, though men and boys can become Onryo as well. Since the 18th century, most Onryo have been portrayed as pale women with funerary garb and wild black hair. They became heavily popular through kabuki plays, ukiyo-e art, and in more modern times, film and television. In the past, rites and blessings could appease the ghost, but more modern adaptations show her as an unstoppable force of suffering. Here are some questions to ponder. 1. The author of Yokai Dangi, Yanagita Kunyo, created the idea that the yurei are separate from yokai because they haunt people, not locations. Some modern authors have pushed back that yurei are still monsters despite not adhering to a certain stereotype. Do you think yurei are true yokai, or should they be categorized separately? 2. In the early tales of Onryo, the body could be reburied, rites could be done, or justice could serve as the catalyst for putting the spirit to rest. Modern adaptations of the Onryo subvert that expectation by having the spirit be unstoppable. Why do you think this shift occurred? Does it make the Onryo seem scarier? 3. Do Onryo seem sympathetic to you? What makes you feel for this ghost as opposed to other yokai?